Meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to roll call.
Casey Benner,
Here.
Mark Buckeye. Here. Bill Hart. Here. Whitney Tucker.
Here.
Tom Hooper. Here. All present and counted for.
Okay. Moving on to the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I so move.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, moving on to the approval of minutes from our last meeting of January 27th, 2025.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the introduction of evidence.
We have the code book, design guidelines, and you have the staff reports that you received late last week. That's all I have.
Make the motion to approve the evidence.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the evidence. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to old business.
I have none.
Moving on to new business. We will start with SGHC 019-25 to receive a certificate of appropriateness to install 1-inch by 6-inch tongue and groove car siding planks below and above the display windows on the facade at 291 Merchant Street. Do we have anyone here
I don't think so.
speak on that one? Okay. Okay. Moving on to the second order of business, SGHC 020-25 to receive a certificate of appropriateness to install an 8-foot by 7-foot display window on the facade at 380 Market Street.
We're back. Dave, did you pass out photos of what we sent you? Okay,
I mean, I zoomed in on some.
Of what we
perfect. That's what I did on too. So if anybody needs a new copy, let me know. So we're wanting to get this back to its original window. And I don't know what photos you have, but there's one with like a parade in it. You can see like a float. And you can tell in there it's not a brick front anymore. Stop me here, Amanda, if I say anything wrong. And then there's another photo where there's men walking with the flags in the parade, and you can see in the corner, there's a glass window, because you can see the, what do they call it? The trim.
Yeah, the aluminum
The
trim.
aluminum trim. So the aluminum that's at the top of our building, as you can kind of see in the main photos, that's the original. And so the aluminum would kind of match along the window as it appears to be in the photo. And then I zoomed in, which I'm guessing is what Dave did on that same photo where the men are carrying the flags on the corner. So you can see the cornerstone, which is still in existence on the building. So you can get an idea of where that's at.
The question you said, are you talking right here?
Would you like me to come?
Yeah, that,
That's from
You
aluminum.
mean the
That-
metal
it's
harness?
clear aluminum.
It's not aluminum.
I'm gonna say, that's, are you saying?
Yeah, whatever this
That's,
is.
that's probably, that's still.
Oh, no. That's wood over the aluminum. The aluminum
there is aluminum behind it.
It's screwed over the aluminum.
There's no sign behind it.
There's no sign, right? Didn't they take that off already? Did Union Hall come grab it, or is it still on there?
I'm just
I
saying,
think the Union Hall
probably
sign's still on.
whatever's behind this,
Yeah.
If-
Sorry.
if it's structural, it's probably steel. It's not gonna be aluminum.
It's this aluminum
Oh.
flashing. This aluminum flashing and this aluminum flashing.
Yeah, that's all still there.
It's all still,
Oh,
it's just
It's
aluminum,
still
it's clear aluminum flashing.
Has that same little vent.
okay.
Actually, this is the photo we just took not long ago. So the Union Hall sign is off there then, unless you covered it
No,
up.
I covered it
Oh,
up.
okay.
That's Photoshop.
Sorry. But here's the one without the wooden sign. Is everybody kind of seeing that?
Okay.
And then this was the photo from the parade where you can see that it's not a brick wall. And then this is another photo.
Okay.
And this building's gone now, that's
Right.
on to the,
And
Right.
there is a window, there's a 90-degree window here that we will do later on.
yep, we're gonna get a quote, we'll see what happens.
We're gonna sell
Does
those.
everybody else see, I'm sure you probably looked in detail, the corner here.
Yep.
So,
You have, I have it zoomed in on the bottom of this.
Yeah.
page here.
and this is the corner I was talking about that is still there, so you can see it to get an idea of the measurement.
So the window will just be inserted right into the brick. I mean, no transom, no kick plate, just
Right, correct.
square
Yeah,
window.
and I'm pretty sure that bottom of the window is just painted black, which I don't know that we're gonna do that. It just, I guess, depends on how it ends up.
But if there's currently brick there, that wouldn't be an issue, though, right? Like if it's already on there.
The brick down here at the bottom?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's brick. I mean,
yeah.
Like, we're not looking to restore, to put the black underneath it.
And this will be aluminum clad, this store window, the new window.
Yes. Yeah, and it is like a commercial display window.
It would look probably like this. That picture, Bill. I'm thinking
Will it be painted?
one of the old logo.
No, it'll have the clear aluminum flashing to match the aluminum flash.
You mean the silver kind?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is.
They
if
call
it's steel or-
They call it clear
They call it
aluminum.
anodized aluminum.
Yeah. The window people called it clear aluminum.
Do you feel like that's, I mean, it's a much better photo than what we had before.
We actually had a,
Shared this photo with them for kind of a comparison. So this is what your neighbor used to look like.
yeah,
Oh, when it was Oaken Food Supply?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you all are gonna leave this aluminum along the door here?
we're gonna leave it, yeah.
You thought about trimming it in white?
We just,
I'm just thinking that everything else is trimmed in white on the building. That's why I was asking,
no, we really, we looked at that, like the Oaken Foos building, it's trimmed in the aluminum also. And since there's already aluminum on the building, that's why we're going with aluminum.
yeah, but the reason I said that, 'cause like the Open Foods building here it doesn't have any white trim on it. You know what I'm saying? All the,
Right. And actually, the sister building to this building is the one that's not there
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. And that one looks like it does have the trim on there, a little bit on there, the top.
So what part of it is already clear aluminum? Any part of it?
It's just that the main, the
Just
big,
main
thick,
door?
yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the door, I don't know how, if you can see, so next to this outside door on the left, you can see it going up, there's like a little dent that's still in there. And then it comes across, it's because there's like a brick or something behind it,
Uh-huh.
that's why there's a
Yeah.
dent. And then the very top.
Have you thought about removing that aluminum and putting it back with white wood trim and then connect in, which is much more, it's more as the original would have been with the original.
The only reason we talked about leaving it how it was, because the only photo we can find, that's what it was. It was the aluminum.
aluminum didn't come in until probably the, I would say 50s.
Yeah,
And I think that's honestly when this window was put in.
right, but it should be maybe taken back to what it was before that aluminum trim was used.
These display windows were not in this building when it was first built.
But not trimmed aluminum.
Well, no one knows.
They didn't trim in aluminum before the 60s. And the window it is much older than that. So that was an added on piece. As it was in style.
So is the issue the
It's the
the
finish.
trim and not the window then?
It's the finish.
The finish.
So the finish of the window, you're saying you don't want us to do the aluminum?
So in my building, they put windows in, they have the little aluminum inside because they're dual pane. Those are trimmed all in wood. So you want to be able to look at that. as the building would have been made with that window before the aluminum window, framed window was put in.
So are you saying there's like a stipulation, if we wanted to do the window, we would have to do that trim? Is that what you're thinking, or where are your thoughts going on that?
Well, I think that the aluminum would be a disservice to when you're working on the building, you want to take it back to where the building was.
Mhm.
And the aluminum was added on much later.
So I need this is my ignorance. Can you catch me up to speed? So I guess I was under the impression that if it was already on the building, that is what we go with, but we can't look at it like that. We have to go back to the very original.
Because it's
So
gone.
like
If it were like there now,
Mhm.
we could go adjacent to it, but because it's gone, we have to go back
Okay,
to.
so because because our aluminum trim is on that top, that's fine. That's not the issue.
Yeah,
It would be the issue on the window and whether or not we did aluminum on that, or if we did a white, a
Framing.
wood with
And trim,
trimmed in white. Okay, is that just an aesthetic that you're concerned about? Like, is this something where we can still have it set in however we need to have it set and then trimmed around? Like, I don't remember, what was the,
I guess I just really honestly don't even know how this window is gonna be because it's like this window that is an oaken foos, like a storefront window. There's really not any trim to it. So I don't understand where the white trim would actually go.
so we have a vinyl window in there now, right? So since there's a vinyl window in there now, would we be able to put a vinyl trim? I don't know anything.
I don't
know enough
think
about
we would do
windows
that.
or-
We don't know.
What would, so 1890s, what would it be trimmed out with? That's
Would.
domestic.
Well,
is mine.
If it would have been.
If any part of it, like if there was vinyl, other anodized aluminum on the front of the building, since it was the 1960s, that's 50 years ago, I could see that having its own historical significance, but there's not. So, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think the main, I guess, issue is the window wasn't put in when the building was built. And that's why there's a difference. The window was we don't even know when the window was put in. It
Yeah,
was
if you go
put
back
in
to,
later.
if you go back to the
Originally,
Sanborn maps, there's no
Originally,
window.
Oh, sorry. But originally there was a large window there.
No. The window,
Not when it was built.
those two windows were put in after this building was completely done.
Yeah, we don't have the Sanborn maps, do we? That,
Yeah.
that shows no window, right?
Yeah,
You don't know when it was put in?
no.
So when was, hold on, we have some documented, like when stores were in there, because people remember putting displays in there.
Isn't this the one?
94.
Timeline.
The Herzogs put the windows in at some point. I don't know
There's a
when
giant
though.
window there.
Yes. Okay, but that's like 1955.
That's 1974,
What
that
I'm-
photo.
okay. I see what you're saying. I see. But yeah,
This,
that's like,
this parade you're estimating is
It's
1970?
1974.
Because there's a 1950s S vehicle. I mean, it doesn't mean somebody couldn't
What
be
if-
driving.
So we pulled these from the Fair Play.
Right, and that is
It's right there.
Oops, sorry.
No, that's not it.
like,
I mean,
Here, I,
It was on that document, David. I
yeah,
sent you a
I trimmed
PDF.
it all. Do you have that printed?
I don't have what you sent me printed because they're zoomed in.
Oh, right.
it's just circa 1955, which,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
There's one from 74. and
I know
one from
that page
55.
was printed in 1974.
right, we're looking at I'm looking at the one from 55.
Yes, but
And
that,
that shows
if
that
it's
there's,
this picture, this building was torn down in like 1965. So
Okay.
Yeah, that picture's not 74.
Okay.
The parade is, the other parade.
oh, but that, in this
This one?
let's take whatever you want.
picture, so this is your building here, correct?
Can I come closer?
Absolutely.
Right here, right?
Yeah, this is ours. That photo's fine.
There's a
Right.
window right here.
Right, that's the photo that I have on, the same photo here.
And then it's
Oh,
zoomed
okay.
in the lower.
There it is, okay. this
We
is
use
it.
that to determine
Okay.
how high to go on there.
Gotcha. Okay, so I mean, This, to me, this is the building next door.
Yeah.
And you can't tell if there was transoms or not, but
There's not, because if you look in this photo, it's not there.
Yeah, it's not over here.
Shows if it was.
So you're painting out the doors, the two front doors.
But the expectation, the thought would be, if it was original, it would be.
You're painting similar front door.
Oh, that there was.
I don't know
Yeah.
what we're gonna
So
do
you're
with
saying
the doors.
This
Yeah.
would be wood.
Not much, if anything painted. I don't
Originally,
know.
this all would have was
Okay.
wood.
Okay,
They didn't, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The transoms would have been.
Let me know if you're gonna step on, sorry, I don't know the board just going.
She's
Like leaning over and
Probably.
drooling.
I mean, to me, I mean, it's aesthetically, I mean, if we could do like a, I don't even know what you, if you would even think about aluminum, white aluminum even.
See, if we would do white aluminum here and here, we would replace all of the aluminum, because it's just gonna look weird to put silver and
Oh,
white.
it would, yeah.
So there is silver aluminum somewhere else on
There
the
is,
Yeah, it's right next to the door and across the top.
Yeah, that's where that is
Yeah.
now.
So where the sign is behind it and down the stores.
Oh, so you've taken that off.
No, it's on there now, but it's screwed on over the aluminum
Over.
that's on there.
Anodized aluminum, silver
yes.
aluminum.
So that's why we were talking about doing aluminum, so it matches.
Right, all right, I understand.
What if the sill around it, instead of being this narrow trim like the one next door, matched with that wider?
Like a whiter.
Yeah,
Not
with
quite
that.
not that.
but-
Yeah, not that white. But see how this is real thin?
Yeah, this is just,
This-
it's just a window seam. that's
Yeah,
all.
looks
Well, no,
much
she's
more
talking about
modern.
Even
Yeah.
out here on the edges.
Yeah,
But if we
it would be-
widened it.
It would be thicker like this, because if you look in, this one, I mean, you can tell, and
Yeah,
our window guy said that's aluminum also.
Okay, so you're gonna basically, like, you can actually have like a frame.
Yes,
So it's not just gonna sit in the brick.
no,
Right,
it'll be
right.
framed in, yes,
oh, okay.
yes.
Yeah, it'll be framed in, we were gonna
It's
do
gonna be
with
legit
aluminum, but
So there's different ways to do
Yeah.
it. Like usually, typically, like these are set, cut your opening in the brick and you set it inside the brick, like the bricks here. It's set inside the edge, right in the edge of the brick.
No, it's gonna be framed in,
So you're gonna come out and you're gonna have actually a frame around.
I assume,
we have to run it by
our window
the people
people,
we're getting the window from.
Flush with the brick.
Right.
it is
Instead
gonna
of
be,
set back.
I mean, it can.
it
I
is
mean,
gonna be
it-
flush,
it-
it's the, I mean, I guess it might be some,
I mean, it can sit
Whatever
back
they
a
need
little
to-
bit longer,
Yeah.
come out.
Right, but not
yes,
basically a lift.
there will be hardly any lift, yes, right. And if you look at like the inside of our building, it's, our contractor even questioned the angle of it, but if you look at the inside of our building, the windows are angled also, like all the electrical, it's like,
Yeah, the original lights, well, what we believe
Yeah.
the original lights are in there and at that angle.
Yeah.
Which matches like the rest of the like venting and stuff in the building.
I'm just walking. Bye.
Yeah.
So I mean, trust me, we want to go with like the time frame and all that, but it's hard for us to say that we're going to go back to a 1890 building when the
When
windows were put in.
We don't know
Later.
what year, yeah.
The windows up.
This one?
I got my pictures here.
The upstairs windows?
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, they look like 1890 to 19.
Yeah, and if you look at the Sanborn maps, those are the only windows listed on the Sanborn maps. The front one was not there.
What year was that Sanborn map?
1894, that was the earliest.
94 one.
Yeah, so the building was built before that we just don't know when.
Not too much, but probably, yeah.
Do we have any additional questions?
Nope.
No, we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
4.5 inch by 2 inch.
Is that
Something no connect.
around the outside?
Yeah, I'm assuming,
Yes.
So it almost, we're just reading back
so
on the back.
4.5 would be top and bottom, and then 2 inch on the side.
You guys have, one of you can come back over here if you want.
I wish I could elaborate, but that's what our contractor told us.
But no, but that, she just pointed that out, so it's saying 4.5 by 2 inch storefront flashing. I wonder if you're talking about 2 inches deep,
Maybe.
Maybe.
4 inches
4.5.
frame around the.
Oh, that makes sense.
Quarter inch tempered window with 1 inch total thickness for, oh, the glass, okay.
With that, if that's the facing here,
That would be,
that would be
that would be
fine.
fine.
Yeah. Question? Concerns?
Approval?
So, one other thing I was looking at, I'll let them ponder before part, on the size of your window. I mean, I see what you're having here, but would, let me find it here. Is that blown up one? Yeah, the big ones, yeah. Let's see that one. So, on the size of your window,
Mhm.
if you get the approval, would you consider going to the height of the door as opposed to halfway to transom? It just, to me, maybe it's just me, but it throws the whole aesthetics off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could be.
I mean, I don't know, the top of this photo where with the float in it, I mean, I don't see any like brick or anything.
Yeah, it's all set back in.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is like a really 40s, 50s style.
Right.
Storefront.
It was angled and
Yeah.
outdoor. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, really ideally it'd be best, we were
So-
hoping to go as high as we can. I mean, if no brick at all,
Here.
really on top.
I have a photo of the interior, and you can see that they put cinder blocks on the inside, and there's a gap between where the ceiling is and where the cinder blocks start.
So if we're
So-
gonna,
What I was saying, Bill, is if they could, if it's possible to have a
Raise it up
window to the height of the door,
Lower it.
lower the size of the window just a little bit.
To
Because
the
to me, to me, it just kind of throws the aesthetics of the,
but if we're going back to that 50s style storefront, wouldn't the glass have gone all the way up?
Probably.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's like, this
It's an
doesn't feel
amalgamation.
right. It doesn't feel right, but
It's been adjusted, and
Yes.
adapted, and
yeah.
They're not able to go up that far?
No, we're gonna go, it depends on what it's like when we rip it out.
I see.
Because we have no idea what's underneath the cinder blocks, if there's still some like
Maybe
structural stuff on top.
Yeah.
Like a surprise.
Yeah. If only there was some paperwork when they put that little tiny vinyl window in.
Yeah, where were you, Dave?
Not in this position.
Kindergarten? Okay, I'm trying to find that message
Oh, the
with the
inside?
window,
Who'd you send it to?
you and the window people. I can click on it, but then I can't click on the photo, and I cannot find the photos in my phone.
What I was
Take a-
thinking was, if this had 18, because isn't this cast iron?
No, that's 10.
That's 10?
Yes,
Okay,
10.
because I was like, then this would be.
This, I'm thinking underneath the aluminum is probably cast iron.
Here
Okay.
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just got it too, I'm sorry.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So here's the inside, where this is, they put cinder blocks in
It's
here.
really
The other
ugly on the
window-
inside.
The other window also has cinder blocks where they covered it up.
So they just
So-
didn't fill.
So it goes all the way up and there's a
That
gap.
brick,
So is this the
It's
drop
just
ceiling
a,
then,
facing.
or-
it's just
Okay.
the,
Veneer, over, yeah.
Over.
Over cinder
Cinder
blocks.
block.
show
Okay,
that
yeah.
to
So
Bill.
the,
Now that
We'll see
makes,
what they're-
so that's why it's lower, is because there's a cinder block right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, show Bill that.
You want to see Tim? Sorry.
Sorry. Not very pretty.
Yeah, so it's,
It's horrible. Like, what the heck were these people doing?
Yeah.
so that makes
Let me
sense.
know if you want to see it then.
It was just-
To me, that tells me that was one big giant window.
Yeah.
at one time.
We found
Yeah,
some
that's
skeletons.
what
I think they're.
I bet they're gonna pull all that out.
We didn't find any
I
skeletons.
bet you'll find where the old windows.
Yeah.
I found skeletons in my absolutely.
He said you could find some. We found some skeletons.
Yeah, there's some real creepy stuff in there.
We think it's a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
As much as I don't want to offend everyone's aesthetics, because we're not here to make sure everything looks pretty. And of course, all of us, house huggers would like to see everything painted white and like it was Victorian. But the fact remains that there is clear, or what do you call it? What
They
was
said
your
it's,
contract
they said
called?
it's clear aluminum.
Clear aluminum.
Because I said it's, oh, it's
There
silver. And I'm
is
like, no, it's.
that on the front of there, and it probably did exist within the 50-year time period. That makes a modern
Right.
material historic, because it is 50 years
Yeah.
since the advent of clear aluminum.
Yeah.
I would be apt to approve an aluminum window to go in there, if you're keeping the clear aluminum on
Yes.
the rest of the building.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not going anywhere.
How you deal with the disparate height between the header and the window, I don't know, maybe you do that.
We've had one person say they think there is still structural integrity on that where the lights are, and then the other one says that's not. So I'm like,
We're gonna get
we
another
almost just need to
opinion.
rip it out and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell it.
Because I would like to go as high as we can, and they're like, we need to put whatever you call
It
it.
doesn't make sense. The cinder block had to have been added after, just knowing that there's a gap between the ceiling and the cinder blocks. Like that, obviously, I don't think it was there.
If it was structural, you would think that would be no space,
Yeah.
like some kind of weight on it.
There's probably a steel beam under where that
Yes.
aluminum is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Very sure there is.
Yeah.
So does everybody hate me for my opinion?
No, okay, so
I don't.
one line at a time.
Best opinion I've ever heard.
Clear aluminum, we're good
With the frame.
with the frame, with that,
When you say with frame, the aluminum is the frame
The-
or, okay.
The-
Okay.
Outside.
Yeah.
So you'd have like it would like a picture,
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it would use windows,
And
big
then-
lawns and
we're under the understanding that it's that 4.5 inch
I think so.
spacing and we're
Right,
good with
right.
Yeah,
that.
we will confirm, and if there's some reason it's different than that, we can let you guys know.
Okay. And then height of the window.
Can you please just say like as high as we can? Like, I like to push my limits, so I really do want to go as high as we can. I'm
And you would
questioning,
have
I'm
the
questioning the
height.
contractor heavily.
Yeah, the height has to be, I mean, it can't go any higher than what we have it drawn at. But you mean as high as what they'll approve?
It can go as high
We want them
as
to approve
the-
as high as that.
Where the lights are.
Yeah, if it's a
Essentially.
1940s, 1950s storefront, it would have gone all the way
All the
up.
way up.
And these measurements are from the inside, the interior.
I'm inclined to say try
Yeah.
to take it back to
Yeah.
that.
And if you get to a place that's really weird, come back and say, we found this, and we'll see if we can help.
Yeah, so the plan is, if you guys approve us, start ripping out the center block and then to see what
See
is underneath
what's
there
there,
and
yeah.
then board it up until our window comes in.
Okay.
Well, cinder block first and then take out the brick.
Yeah, well, the brick has to come out with the center block.
But
Well,
that is
I don't know if
the
they're gonna-
problem is with the space between the header.
Right, right.
Yeah. And you'll find out soon enough what's there.
Yeah.
Well, if the whole front of the building's on the sidewalk, you know what happened. I'm kidding.
David's like, what?
Okay.
Make
What
sure
do you want to put in the form of a
You know,
motion?
what should work.
y'all might have to correct me because I'm,
notes going.
I will.
okay. I'm gonna make a motion. Are you guys ready? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve with the understanding that the new window be trimmed in clear aluminum frame, 4.5 inch facing. Restore the height of the window to the circa 1950s height based on evidence of headers, but no higher than current 1950s aluminum facing the building. Did I get it?
And the existing aluminum.
No.
And retain
No.
existing,
Can you repeat the very last part? I need to make sure. So the circa 1950 height is what we're aiming for. Explain to me what the other height is that we don't want to obtain.
based on evidence of the headers. But whatever happens when you tear that off, the window can go no higher than the aluminum that's already facing.
Okay.
Right.
Meaning you can't take it out.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
We're good.
And then retain the original,
Retain
Aluminum.
the
the current
the
aluminum
current aluminum, yeah, that's on the building.
on the building. I don't know why I'm writing this down. Casey's got it.
Well, I'm trying to write notes like it, right?
So when we apply for our little plaque that goes on the building, we'll say 1894 /
With
With 1950s additions, right, 1950s
Did you
modifications,
first
whatever,
that then?
yeah, alterations.
Yeah, I first did it.
Okay, so I have
Okay.
a motion to approve the new window in the clear aluminum flashing finish to match the existing aluminum currently on the building at the 4.5 by 2-inch window framing, restoring the height up to the circa 1950s storefront windows based on the header situation, no higher than the existing aluminum, and you must retain the current aluminum flashing.
Nailed it.
Who seconded?
It was 4.5 inch, right?
Right.
4.5, yes.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, guys.
We did it.
Dave, take really good notes
Hey,
now.
just a note, we had a guy drive down from St. Louis and sat in our library and found that photo.
Really?
He knew it existed. He's like, I know it's there.
Yeah, he's like, I know, it's in these months of the,
And we couldn't find it.
no, it's his dad owned the shop.
Oh,
Or his grandpa.
It looked like a Christmas tree in the window.
They decorated
They
it for
did.
Christmas. I don't
But
know when
but
this
Jurna-
is.
It's obviously
Jurna
not.
Fett.
Oh,
It's a Jurna Fett,
Right.
parade.
Maybe they set up really early.
Yeah, I don't know.
well, that's what people were bragging about. That it's really cute.
Yeah, I spent way too much time going.
I also did looking through the library, it's not fun.
I will get this to you, when it comes time to put the window in, we probably, it'll be small, but building permit, since
Yes.
you're messing with the load,
A small in size building permit or a small fee?
Small,
second choice.
Okay.
yes. So whenever they rip it out, do we get the permit, the building permit, right?
Before we rip it out.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'll be in
Please.
tomorrow then.
Okay.
Oh, and if you didn't know, the Fair Play does have digital archives online. They only go to so many years.
yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tense.
If we get to this one.
Moving on to SGHC 022-25, to receive a certificate of appropriateness to install new vinyl windows, party board siding, and a new steel front door at 688 Market Street.
Hi. Hi. The only thing that we had put on our request was that we would have new vinyl siding or hardy cement, depending on, so we didn't know whenever we read the agenda. That wasn't on there. But the house that we're talking about was,
Oh, it does, I apologize.
what?
It does say vinyl or hardy.
Yeah.
Maybe I accidentally, subconsciously,
But I don't know, the house that we were talking about, the previous owners had asked for it to be demolished and we're trying to bring it back. We don't know what and how things were, but it has the asphalt shingles on the roof. It has the asbestos siding, and I would like it replaced because it covered, because the back has so many pieces missing that we could replace it with the front, but then it wouldn't all be the same.
Right.
And if you look at it, all the windows are different. They're not even exactly the same size. There's no weights in the windows, they're broken. The glass is physically broken. The windows aren't the same character, I guess you would say, from the bottom to the second story. So we would like them to all match, and that's what we would like to do with the vinyl windows. And then we would like a different front door just to, with everything else being new.
Well, first of all, I want to say I very much admire what you're doing there because that building has been a problem for a long time. And it's nice to see, it's a big problem for you right now, right? But it's really nice to see somebody over there working on that building.
Thank David.
All of us have been there. So we know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, it's a chore. I mean,
The floor, I'm not afraid to walk on anymore.
It's always encouraging.
Yeah, so I understand I understand you're wanting to make things look new, but it's sort of our responsibility to ensure stuff still looks old. Just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
And you have probably a circa 1890 to 1910 house. And I don't think your asbestos siding is original, and so.
Oh, I don't either.
And I don't think anybody here would be adverse to your putting lap siding on it. I don't think we've ever approved vinyl siding for anybody, so it would have to be hardy board or something like that. And, siding of that time probably wasn't real wide like
Yeah.
maybe a smaller lap.
About
Skinnier.
Yeah.
5-inch
Yeah,
boards usually.
five,
Okay.
about around that. And I have to agree, the windows are in really horrible condition. Your house, though, sits almost right on the street, and our business is to preserve character defining features of a building, and usually the windows are one of the most, have the most character on the front of your house and be a blank wall if it didn't have windows or the porch posts or whatever, to give it a decorative element. That being said, I don't know, I think vinyl windows would probably look too
No.
new for an old house. And I think the commission has been pretty amenable to allowing substitute materials on lesser parts of the house, like the sides of the house. If you're agreeable with putting replacement windows on the front that are wood, that look more like the original windows, I think, I don't speak for everybody, but I think people would be more amenable to budging on the sides instead of the front.
Yeah, having that front, it's what's presented to the public. And presented to it's the character of that house, such as it is. And it's gonna have a new smile pretty soon. But those should be as like the original elements were with the original materials.
And on your window, we've all been through the building, and Whitney had noticed something that more than likely at some point, the second story was added to the house. And that's why you have probably have two different
Styles of windows,
with the muttons in there. That's why you have like a 2/2 up above and the 1/1 down below. I mean,
That could be, but the wall studs go all the way up.
pardon me?
The wall studs go all the way up to where the meets the roof. They do, and I don't think it was added on to, but it could be. I mean, but that may be why. But we got it gutted, so
Right.
it does go all the way up to where it meets the roof, so. The add on with the back of
Right, yeah, we need that with it.
You see that too.
Are you,
Or the little floor was caving in.
Yeah, I don't,
are you removing the asbestos?
Pardon?
Are you removing the,
yeah, I would just cover over it.
Too much.
because like, okay.
No.
So that,
Um,
then we need to talk about the
The
door.
front
the
door.
door, so I went by earlier, and the door has a really, really nice age-defining
Yeah.
wide button in the,
I looked at it
right in
too.
the middle between the panes. I don't, is it 4x4 or?
Seems pretty good. It's a
Is it
four
pane?
pane.
It's
Yeah.
4 pane?
Yes.
Door pane.
I thought,
Yes.
I couldn't, I wasn't gonna walk up to it again, but, I, for one, I like the door. I don't like steel doors.
You know what you could do to really kind of dress it up and give it a more modern feel? You could paint it out a different color than the rest of the building. And if you're worried about security, maybe put a full view storm door on it so that you can see it, but still have some protection so that somebody doesn't come, if you're worried about, if you're worried about security,
There's
I
like,
live in town and I'm not worried about that.
what, 2 inches at the bottom, 3 inches?
3 inches.
There's a big gap, what,
Oh, go ahead.
at the bottom of the door?
I was thinking it was missing the threshold when we were there.
Yeah.
If I'm right.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the threshold, so
I
there's,
think there was no, the threshold was gone.
I don't know.
So you're not gonna have 3 threshold, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, it's
So-
like that. I was like, look at that.
So would we have to do a wooden window? We do 2 wooden windows in the front. What about the window up top?
all the front windows.
Yeah, all the front windows.
Okay,
But they're all, even though the upper windows are different than the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leave them as they are.
You mean
There's-
style wise? I don't know.
style-wise, do we make them all match?
Yeah, two.
2 over 2 or 1 over
I would
1.
like to see them stay the same. Myself.
yeah.
One
We
over
can
one.
salvage some of the windows, if you allow us to do vinyl on the sides and the back, if we can salvage some windows
Right.
and redo the front ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be nice to have them all matched, you go 4 over 4 or 2 over
We don't
2.
have anything that size for the.
So either do the 4 over
I think
4
we might be able
Or
to do
even
the
2 over, like, they're 2 over 2 or 1 over 1.
Over 1
so
over
it'd be
1.
consistent throughout the front, so the front looks,
so one or the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
But can we
I'm gonna
leave
get a
what's there?
pen.
Can we leave what's there, how it's set up now, we fix up? But I guess.
Yeah, if you want to just restore the windows,
Yes.
oh, yeah, absolutely. You could just leave them
Well, I
exactly
get
the
that.
way
I
they
think
are.
we may be able to salvage some of the other windows.
The front, oh, I see what you mean.
You have enough parts to build
Yeah.
those out.
Yes, to build those.
And your front windows are not as bad a condition as your side windows for sure,
Yeah.
especially on the west side of the
Yeah.
house there.
But what I'm getting at is, we got, the upper has the same windows on the back. So we could probably get, between all 4 of those windows, we could get 2 good ones.
I see what you mean, yeah.
But it's not gonna, we're not gonna match the
And
bottom.
then rebuild the
Oh,
bottom.
that's
with that.
okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be all right.
So that's what I'm thinking, maybe we could salvage some parts,
Yeah, yeah,
make the front ones original. So,
okay.
Yeah, we'd try
And,
to,
and if you're worried about, R value or insulation value, because a lot of people think they're getting a lot better R value out of the vinyl window. You could always put a storm window over
mhm.
Yeah, get a good quality storms.
them.
Wanna get ready to do
I
that?
have-
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, sir.
it is, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have, okay.
So, does that, any of that sound too horrible?
No, not so far. No.
Any other questions, or do we want to discuss the front door
yeah,
a little bit more, since they're asking for a steel front door?
Well, the one, you got a picture of there, that window, or that door is actually,
This one?
it's a fireplace window.
so this is more craftsman style
Yeah.
door,
Yeah.
where the building, and I see on the building, they've actually tried to, at some point,
Later, the later windows. and-
well, that, they put the little brackets up in the eaves.
Yeah.
but
I was gonna
It's
ask
missing
you
the
to keep the brackets too when you put the new siding. The brackets that are either.
The brackets
side
in
of
the corners and the eaves.
It has two up at
Up
the
at the
top of the
roof edge,
gable, but
there's-
they're missing.
Those decorative brackets.
In fact, I think there's something missing.
Can I see that?
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, so it's these brackets up here that we're talking
That was
about.
gonna be my next question. Can we put soffit up? I guess that's telling them right there.
Save any of those original elements and use them.
Up here, there were two brackets also.
And if we
With those
need to,
replaced.
trace those and.
Oh, there
They're missing.
were.
There's one.
Yeah, you can see the ghosting, they're just
That's
gone.
real
Yeah,
good.
that would be cool if they could do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, just try to, you keep those.
I mean, I
original
realize-
elements.
Yeah, okay.
Totally.
They're already gone, so.
You can throw a little recommendation.
What'd you call those things?
Brackets or knee
Brackets.
braces, some people call them knee braces. We need to make.
We can keep what's up there.
I'll make a motion that we approve the following modifications to the house, that we approve a 5-inch lap hardy board or similar type siding while retaining the knee braces or brackets that are on the building. Repairing or replacing the front windows with wood while allowing the side windows to be vinyl and back windows to be vinyl. And retaining the existing front door and repairing the threshold. Is that it? Does that cover everything?
On the windows, are you gonna ahead and keep the same level patterns?
On the sides?
On the
On the
front.
front.
Oh, yeah.
He's,
And-
they
Do
have,
1 over 1 and 2 over 2s above.
Can we ask a random question?
Well, sure. I just need to clarify, because is it repair, replace, meaning they can keep what they have, or they need to match? Or one or the other?
You mean if they put new ones on?
On the front windows, I
Yeah.
think what they asked was if they could piece the mill together, they
Yeah.
could keep how they are, which is 2 over 2,
Exactly.
1 over 1.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what we wanna do, is
Exactly.
keep
Yeah.
that appearance regardless of how, what they do, is keep the
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is there?
Jamie has a question, I'm sorry.
The kitchen area is really weird and has the long window, they're all long windows. And there's not really a place to put a countertop and a sink. Is there a way, we just thought of this now because of the siding. Is there a way that we could change the height of one of those windows? Maybe the same height as the bathroom, so that it would still look the same? But, because there's 2 windows, we would just change one of them, I'd imagine.
So,
It would either be on the back side on the right, if you're looking at the front of the house, or by the door in the very back. But I could stand in those windows. They're huge, but there's no counter space, no stove space, and
make it sort of the same.
Right. It's level.
The siding across there.
you'd never know it was there, before.
I don't have any problem with it if it's in the back.
Yeah, they face the yard.
Yeah. I think that'd be all right.
Facing the back.
We add that to the motion.
Mhm.
Yeah, modify one of the rear windows to accommodate,
Countertops.
the countertop in the kitchen.
Okay,
And if
thank
you
you.
didn't want to do that, I've seen something I've actually done in my building in Main Street. So the counter, same thing, my windows I can jump through my windows, they're huge. And so I have it, which I took it out, but took the countertop to the edges of the window, then dropped it down.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I
And then
did
also put it
like a
on top.
window well. I did that.
Yeah,
I've done
and
that.
on the top edge of it, I have a piece that I can sit there and sit back in. I mean, of course, it's different. I don't have a stove or anything else in front of it. It's just, extra
Yeah.
counter space.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
It's kind of neat. I mean,
It's-
if it works,
It's just,
yeah, right. Oh, I get it. I know.
We were scratching my head in there the other day trying to figure out where we
Yeah.
go with everything. So,
Thank you. I didn't mean to bring that
No,
up.
you're fine.
No, that's good to do it once.
Better to ask permission than forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that feels the other
I think I'll do the way, Bill, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I have everything. So I have a motion to approve your certificate for the following modifications to the home with a 5-inch lap hardy board siding, retain the knee braces up on the roof line, repair and replace the front windows with wood, leaving the same style that we have on the uppers and the lowers. So 2/2 on the upper, 1/1 on the lower. Allowing vinyl windows on the side and back with a modification to one rear window to allow for countertops in the kitchen. And then repair the front door and replace the threshold.
I forgot something. On the side windows, you're gonna keep the same style, 1/1.
1/1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that was in there. So,
Okay,
Did I get it all?
that was perfect.
Sounds good.
I'm glad you're doing it instead of me.
So I have a motion. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, folks.
Good luck.
Good luck. and-
Yeah, and thanks for.
Great product.
Yeah, yeah.
House at a time.
Yeah,
Okay.
They didn't. Do we need to do a motion to table this to next week since they didn't
These aren't the people.
come in?
No, they're not, but you can, absolutely.
Okay. Since no one came for our first certificate to install the 1x6 tongue and groove, do we want to make a motion to table it till our next meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
So I have a motion and a second to table till our next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That would be April. 21st. Okay. I'm sorry, who was the motion and the second?
Bill and myself.
Thank you.
What'd you say?
Okay, moving on to administrative approvals.
So there's quite a few, it's been a couple months. The first one there is wood siding. I think most of you are familiar with that building. It has all new wood siding. 147 North 3rd, 789 North Main was vinyl siding, had vinyl, stayed vinyl. The remainder down to the second to the last are all roofs. Same materials, some of them flat roofs. 124 Merchant Street is new wood windows. So they're still wood, but they were broken. Correct.
Mhm.
And then the very bottom is also a roof. We've done this before, so that 98 North 3rd has slate, and so it's as similar a style and material as possible. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to other business.
I have none.
Okay, any public comments?
I'd like to ask several questions.
Okay, you would come to the podium and introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Yeah, my name is William Hoffman, Jr. Used to live in St. Genevieve for about 60 years. We moved up to Ellisville in St. Louis County for 18 years, and now last year we moved back here. And I guess my first question, because it's different than the other two I got, is we're living up on Keeper Street now, and my mom's house that I inherited is next to it, or we're living at 607 Keeper, but mom's house is 611. And I don't guess there's anything wrong with putting vinyl siding over that asbestos, is there?
Outside the historic
Yeah,
district.
so you wouldn't have, since it's not in the district, we wouldn't.
Right,
Say.
I just thought I'd ask and make sure. I don't want,
For sure.
That's fine, that's good.
and we're gonna put new windows in it too. The windows are just, I mean, I don't know what happened to them, but they're terrible. Anyway, thanks for that. And, the blacksmith shop down on Washington Street, 2nd and Washington, we had that all set up to restore back, I think in 2006 or 2007, we got an approval for it. And I started working on it too, but I finally realized it was just too much to do it and the old house on Gabourey at the same time. So we kind of put it to the side until we could finish the old house at 93 Gabourey. And I did work on it a little bit while we was working on the house on Gabourey, but didn't get a whole lot done, as you can tell. And then in 2018, we was almost done with the old house on Gabourey, and I had to jump in and rescue my aunt, who's my dad's sister, which I don't want to get in too deeply because it's not something you should do. But we took care of that in 2018, and in 2019 we tried to start catching up with all the stuff we got behind on our house, plus the old house on Gabourey too, and plus all the rental property that I had then. And then in 2020 the virus hit, and we just got away from doing anything until May of 2023. Me and my oldest daughter, Nicole, decided we was going to do an LLC at the blacksmith shop at 205 Washington. And we did. It's called Blacksmith Holdings LLC now. We have an architect and we had an appraisal. It took like 5 months to get an appraisal. It's just hard to get appraisals on historic properties. We have a lawyer and a historic expert too. I don't know if that's actually her title, but Nicole hired these people, and they're all from up north, and mainly got her to make sure we did everything right so she could get tax credits on it. Well, and our plan here is going to be 2 apartments upstairs like it was before. And the one-story part that's on the west side of the blacksmith shop that I think Lurks added on there for their milk business, probably back in 30s, maybe, probably late 30s, mid 30s, I don't know. I thought we was going to do 2 little apartments there, but Nicole said, no, Dad. I'd already made a drawing to scale and everything for 2 of them. And she said, you might as well toss that. It's going to be 1 apartment. So that's the plan for that part of it. So that leaves the blacksmith shop itself, the ground floor, and the frame part, that 2-story frame part that was on the back of it, that was so bad shape, it was scary just to walk in it. We had to tear it down. We're going to restore it too. We just don't know what we're going to do with that part and the ground floor of the blacksmith shop. And if anybody's got any good suggestions, I'm wide open. You guys would surely probably know more what would be something good for the town than I do, being gone so long. But we want to restore that pretty much original. I mean, we're gonna have to put a concrete floor in it, still got a dirt floor, but I wanna have them color the concrete the same color as what that dirt floor is, at least make it look like something like a dirt floor. But, whenever, I wanted to come here back in December already. I was supposed to have the drawings from the architect in this first week of December, and we still don't have them. I don't know what's going on with him. Last I heard, he's having problems with the elevations. And I'll have to talk to Nicole again. I haven't talked to her for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if he ever got going again on it or not, but.
That's your architect?
The architect you're talking about, Bill?
Pardon?
The architect?
Yeah.
Need to get going, okay.
He's, from the St. Louis area too, I think. That might have been one of the problems. We probably should have got somebody that was closer to being local, but she hired all these people, and I ain't gonna say anything. I don't want to get in trouble with my daughter. And she's the one that, if something happens to me, and she's the one that's gonna have to run the show anyway, so. Anyway, I just wondered if there was any, and I'd started restoring that billboard that was on the east side of the building, and Joy was gonna do it, and they told us after we got the LLC started, this historic lady told us, nope, don't do a thing on it, don't touch it. So that's why we stopped there. And can't do anything on it until everything's all approved and ready to go and all that, so. Anyway, if there's any suggestions you had on what to do with the the ground floor of the blacksmith shop and the addition on the back of it that we gotta redo, I'd appreciate it. And if there's anything that you can't do with that, well, I seen a statue of a horse up in Valley Park, I think it was, yeah. And man, it was really cool. And I thought, they're still on the front of the blacksmith shop, they still got these rings that they put into the brick, that got a metal flange with a metal ring hanging on it, I guess where they tied the horse to. And I thought, man, that'd be so cool to get that thing and, hook it to one of them rings. Would that be something that'd be okay?
I mean, if you're just talking like a statue.
Of a horse, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly go through Heritage Commission, but that would, from other perspectives, I'm thinking about zoning, building, that would be okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a residentially zoned area. So even though obviously there's a blacksmith shop years ago.
Do an apartment there if you want to do an
Apartments, yeah, you could put an apartment on the first floor too, unless you wanted to make it commercial, but we can meet after the meeting or later next week. Because it depends on what you want to do inside it, not so much what it's going to look like as far as the zoning aspect of it. Like if you wanted to run a business out of it, that's another conversation.
Well, Dave, I think we're probably going to have to do something commercial with it because all 3 forges are still in there, and they got. I guess they put their bolts and nuts and washers and whatever in a bunch of pigeonhole type thing.
Oh, that's in there too.
That's in there, and there's an anvil still there, and a scale, one of those old scales, where you had to put the weights on it.
That's amazing.
To measure, to weigh something.
Museum.
It would. Have you talked to Aaron? What is Aaron's official title?
Our treasurer.
Yeah. Because I know that there's a lot going on with the tourism commission and everything about
Mm-hmm.
just new ideas for downtown. He might be a great one to kind of like brainstorm
Yeah,
ideas.
and what's the address there?
205 Washington Street.
Now, is that almost like right at the end of Second
Yes.
Street?
Yeah,
It's a brick
yeah, it's like you
building.
drive right into it, yeah.
I love the building.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a great
And
building.
if you do like a museum with it, I wouldn't even change the floor. I wouldn't even waste the money putting concrete in, I'd leave it dirt and leave it sitting.
Oh,
the way
like
it
an
is.
open air museum?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea.
that would be awesome.
Get some blacksmiths in there to do like
Well,
blacksmith shows.
My daughter had,
No, leave it the way it is. You come into a museum and it just, this is how it was.
Well, it's sort of, yeah, it seems like so much of what's there is original.
That's what I'm saying, everything's so original in there, everything.
that dirt floor makes it dry in there too. In the summer, it's not so humid in there.
Yeah.
And it's cooler in there too. The lower floor, the blacksmith shop.
Yeah.
Even when it's 100 degrees outside, it probably ain't over 75 or 80 in there.
I don't know what your architect's gonna say about that.
He's gonna win his money. I like the idea of just leaving it
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah, do an open air museum, get some blacksmiths in there,
that'd
do
be
the whole
so
Well,
thing.
Aaron is working with, I can't speak for him, but I know he's been working with trying to get more tradesmen and crafters
Tradesmen or
to
artisans.
come to town. I don't know if, you
Yeah,
know, if you
that's-
wanted to
Well,
repurpose it for what it was meant for to begin with and allow people to come and,
Actually work.
Like a
Well, the-
studio.
Well, the Missouri,
yeah, but there, when craftsmen come and
the
stay. for-
Missouri Blacksmiths Association does do what they call ring-ins, where they'll go to shops, have a bunch of blacksmiths show up and do demonstration days and teaching days, and people can actually bring repair items there and they repair them.
Artisan residence.
In residence, they have artisans in residence, that's
Yes.
exactly what I was gonna say.
And there's, all the knife making, that's become quite a thing. Blacksmithing has been brought into the forefront. There's a lot of people looking for equipment, supplies, and other things.
And classes are really
And
popular
possibly
right
a
now.
place to teach classes. There's actually some educational things that can be done there, with getting the right people involved.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Tom also runs a craft shop, he runs ASL Pewter.
I'm the pewter foundry here in town.
Yeah.
And so,
I'll talk to my daughter about that too. How do I get in contact with Aaron?
You just reach out to me tomorrow and I can set you up, or we can make an appointment and all three of us can talk, or four of us.
yeah, and you're welcome also to drop by our shop to kind of see what a working shop looks like today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's what she's looking for, Nicole, or she's looking for like something retail, but I think that would be wonderful.
She might go for that. The only thing I've ever heard her mention in these, it's been a year and 10 months now since we formed the LLC. The only time I heard her say anything, she thought it'd be a good place for a social club. But
And picked up around town since then. So,
you know, with them open Danny's up now and
Right.
that, I just don't know if I'd go over good enough.
There's an anvil in there.
Well, doing an artist space, you don't have a lot of competition. There's not,
Right.
yeah,
You've got an artistic community.
yeah. And you're right there on the edge of Little Bohemia and yeah, it's really prime location.
Mhm.
That'd be cool, yeah. And Nicole made me save some of Dad's bicycles too, because before he became a mechanic, auto mechanic, he was a bicycle mechanic after World War II. And he did his work in that ice house that or the summer kitchen that used to be next to the old house.
So everyone, I just, if you're all aware, I apologize. Mr. Hoffman also owns the two-story, people call it the La Briere, Hoffman House, down by the Fett property. Used to be covered in 50s and 60s vehicles, so you
I
can,
have photographs of the cars.
In 20s and 30s and 40s too.
true, yeah.
I talked to him
When I was
years
growing
ago
up.
before I moved down here and he let me go walking through there.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
We used to make up stories about that place.
You wouldn't believe how many people chewed me out for cleaning all them cars out of there.
You gotta do something with them.
It's usually the opposite.
There's either fans of it or not fans.
I'm a fan of it. I think There's a lot of money there could have been sold.
I always just told them, well, it's easy for you to say, you ain't the one that's gotta get in there and try to mow the weeds.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be,
About 300 cars in there.
Yeah, we can set something up later this week if you want to.
Okay, I know we're busy tomorrow. I got to go to the hospital for some tests and then got another meeting to do.
Going on in that meeting,
Yeah, that would be good.
would probably be a good idea.
Yeah,
have to see when she's available.
That'd
Yeah,
be
you don't
good,
want to get her
'cause
mad at you.
if she has an idea for some sort of business, she'd probably have to seek, or someone would have to seek a special use permit, probably.
yeah.
It's gonna have customers parking there and things of that nature. But we can set it up, absolutely.
You know, one good thing about it, there's a room for a parking lot in front of the new garage that we had to build there on the west side of it. And around the back of it too, there's a big triangular area that you do a lot of parking, and you can park a few on the east side of the building too, plus street parking, so you could get quite a few people in there and still have parking for them.
Well, I'm glad you're continuing to pursue something with it. I've been in love with that building for years, so I'm excited.
I've been in love with the 24-inch 4-panel door that's been sitting in front of the door. And I never, took me forever to figure out who owned it. I don't know who to get a hold of it.
You got rid of those tubs, didn't you? Or some,
Uh,
yeah.
There's still one clawfoot tub upstairs yet, but I was thinking about putting it in the basement at the Gabbery house. I mean, I got a new clawfoot tub upstairs in the Gabbery house for whatever we're gonna do with it. I was gonna make a VRBO out of it, and then everything happened from 2018 on. And then by the time things started clearing with the virus, we had to try to sell our house up there and buy one down here and then move and everything. And we're just now getting back on our feet. But I'd kind of like to put that one in the basement and have people use it more so than the one up the top floor, the new one. But there's two brand new cast iron tubs that were bought probably back in the early 50s, still in a crate down there. But I'd get rid of them pretty cheap, especially if somebody'd carry them out of the top floor.
Might be talking to you. A door, a couple tubs.
I had one, a couple friends of mine had carried down. There was 3 of them, now there's only 2, because they carried this one down, sitting there underneath that porch. And wasn't long, somebody come by and wanted to buy it, and I said, would you give me $100 for it? And they said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I think so. It's yours. But I'd sell them other 2 for less than that if somebody'd carry them down.
Oh,
All right.
Bill, you can help me move them?
So,
Flat out, no.
I'll supervise.
Yes,
Thanks.
so let me talk to Nicole and see when it'd be a good time for her where she could be in that meeting
We
too.
I mean, we can Zoom her in also
Yeah,
over video conference.
yeah. Yeah, I'll tell her that. She might be up to that too. But she gets into that too, but she's kind of an eye-to-eye person. That's kind of how I am too. I mean, I haven't been looking at you guys real much, but I'm just saying I'm kind of eye-to-eye when it comes to business. So I'll talk to her and then I'll get with Dave and we'll figure some day out and when and how we're gonna go about it.
Thanks, Bill.
We sure appreciate
Appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
I'm not done. It's the old house built in 1784 on Gabbery. I might as well hit you with the tough question first. When we restored that thing, all the porches, it's got 2 full-length porches in back with, I think, 4 posts. Got 4 posts in back on each floor. And we put, I don't know if it's 6x6 or 8x8 treated post in to support the porches. But then we used either 1x10s or 1x12 to encapsulate them and make them look like the originals did. And they turned out nice, looked real good. Unfortunately, we use poplar wood because it's easy to get clear lumber, no knots, and that's the way the originals were. Well, they lasted from 1784, I guess, until probably the 1950s or 1960s. They started deteriorating, but they never really rotted real bad. But that poplar, it didn't work, and woodpeckers started pecking holes in it, and then water would go, when it rained, get in them holes and run down the inside, and squirrels are chewing around on the edges of it and stuff, and it's just made a mess. And the bug guy that I have do bug control, pest control down there, he told me what happens is minute bugs that you can't even see get into that wood, and the woodpeckers get on there and try to peck and get that bug. So do you mean to tell me they get on there and peck so darn much they can peck a hole through a 1x10 just to get a little bug we can't even see? He says, yep. So anyway, I know this is alarming, but I'd like to change all that encapsulation lumber to PVC.
Not just on the back.
Yeah. It's the white PVC you can buy, looks like lumber, but it ain't. I just don't want to have to go through this again in 5 or 10 years from now. And use PVC, you don't have to worry about any bugs being in it. Squirrels and woodpeckers might not like it, but I'm just wondering if that's any possibility.
Vocal tonight, that's the main. You've been quite vocal tonight. What do you think?
If it looks and acts like wood, I can't see being opposed to it. David, what about the Secretary of the Interior standards and replacement materials?
So we have those guidelines for replacement of, with similar material. And so again, if this board, or substitute material, if this, commission wanted to approve something like that or wanted to at least consider it, it is allowed.
I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but I went to Menards up in St. Louis County probably about a year and a half ago and looked at some, and it looks pretty good. I mean, somebody that's really acquainted with lumber, like all you guys, could probably tell that it ain't wood.
Yeah, we go picking around on
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And somebody that, a carpenter or somebody like that probably would notice it, or somebody that sells lumber. But, and the house is pretty good ways from the street too. It ain't like it's right along the street. It's, talking about probably 60, 70 feet, or maybe more than that from the street. So, unless you turn into a place where people want to go up and tour it or something, most of the people that's going to look at it ain't going to be able to tell from the street anyway.
There's some cellulose fiber polymer composite product that, I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like would be entertained. And that would probably also resolve your
Yeah.
squirrel woodpecker.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you know will work and you think would be approved, be fine with me. Anything, but I just don't want to put wood in there again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's some composite materials that probably actually act better than the PVC because the sunlight hits it, it warps, it does really weird things.
Yeah.
And so, and like some of the sidings, like like the hardy board siding, there's some structural material like that one buys would be perfect for that. It's just a matter of sourcing them.
We can put that on the agenda too, if you want to chat about that.
yeah, definitely.
You can do a little bit of research in the meantime.
I mean, that's the whole thing for me to even do anything more with it. I am so disappointed between that and the shutters that I just don't want to go through all that again. It's so disappointing,
Well, new growth,
especially since it's a house I was raised in yet. And I always thought this place needs to be redone. And I promised my dad right before he died that I would get it done.
beautifully done.
But it's, some of the rails on the spindles, the upper rails did pretty good. But the bottom rail on the spindles, I thought, I tried to use some of the old lumber from the house just so, matter of fact, some of it I think was even in the summer kitchen, but it was a full 2 inches wide, which made it a lot better for the spindles to sit on. I thought this would be pretty cool. We'll just reuse them, and put the spindles on them. And I don't know what kind of wood it was. I figured it would probably be cypress, but I don't think it was because it didn't hold up at all. It just rotted and then spindles started dropping off. The upstairs porch in the back didn't do it near as bad, very little. But that bottom porch, every one of them spindles. So me and Frank Smith, before he passed away, we redid one run of it and we put I got a treated 4x4 that had one side that was good and clear, didn't have any knots in it. And we sawed it down to where it was a full 2 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall. And there wasn't any knots in it because we sawed all them out when we sawed that one side off. And it's been, I'd say 6, maybe 7 years now. It looks just like it did when we put it in, except for something chewed on one of the bottoms. I would bet on it. But that's why I just want to get it done, make a VRBO out of it or rent it out or something to get human scent in there. I think that's a major problem why them woodpeckers and particularly the squirrels come around so much they don't detect any human scent in there. And when me and Terry was working on the place, they didn't bother it near as much as they did after we stopped working on it at the end of 2017. And they just had a field day after that. And the shutters, that was the other problem. I'd like to use some shutters like Tim Conley put on that house he restored up by the old St. John High School. That's no problem, is it?
I mean,
You're talking about so you have louvered shutters now and you're looking for panel shutters? Is that what you're talking?
No, they were paneled. Yeah, the ones on the back porch were the original panel shutters. And naturally, because they was on the porch all those centuries,
Yeah.
they were okay. I mean, they didn't look like brand new, but they were okay. And I thought, well, that tells me that the original shutters were panel and somebody else replaced them with them louvered shutters that were out in the weather.
See that?
that were falling apart. So I had them made new ones, and I didn't even think about what kind of wood he was gonna use. I don't know why, but if I would have knew about it after I'd seen them encapsulations fall apart, well, I would have knew better. But this had something I had done before we even had all the siding on the house yet. Yeah, I had him make them, and we hung them things up, and every one of them. First, we had to replace the first one in about 4 or 5 years. We had to replace the first one. And then after that, they just couple every year just start falling apart. So I knew that Tim Connolly had used them on that old house up by the school, and I thought, that'd be great. I even called the place up, and they told me how to measure them and everything, but then it just got tied up there and trying to get the house ready to sell and looking for a house down here and all that. And I just never did go through with buying them yet. But I wanted to make sure it'd be okay with everybody anyway.
Well, obviously you'd have to come back here and do, go through the process, but if you have paneled shutters, original ones on your house, I don't think anybody here is gonna have any problem
Yeah.
with your putting panel shutters back on it.
And whatever, this is something you're running through one of your daughters either, but whatever you guys agree to, we can put it on a certificate of appropriateness. Like if we find a material for the porches, if you find a shutter you want to use, put it on a certificate, bring it back to committee, get approval, and then you can go with it.
Yeah, because I think what you want to do is sound the way we're going about it, and we can, people here can help you with that. I think it's a great process.
Okay.
So, and it can be done in little bits and pieces too. Doesn't have to be all done at once.
Correct.
That's Timber Lake's the one that is a company that made them things, them shutters. I guess what I have to do, get a hold of them and have them send me some kind of paper that, or no, unless you could,
So Timberlake makes the ones you want to put on there?
well, that's the only ones I knew of would be better in wood. If you guys know something else.
If you can get a hold of a sample, perfect. If not, I'm sure there's something online we can print off an image of or something of that, probably some specs on it also.
You found ready-made shutters to put on there?
Pardon?
Those were ready-made shutters, or they just shipped them to you, or you had them built?
Yeah, they told me to measure them up and then they make them and ship them to me.
Okay,
They're in Pennsylvania.
so they custom make them to you.
I got their phone number from Tim Conley before he passed away. And I called him, I don't know, a little over 2 years ago, I think, is when I called him up, and and then we got busy with moving up there and heading down here and all that, and just thought ain't a good time to order them now. And so, yeah, I could call them and have them send me a sample if that'd work.
That'd be perfect.
Some pictures or,
That could work also.
I noticed too that they've taken them off of Tim's house up there. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but
I have not.
I hadn't.
the ones on the back porch, I think there's 1 or 2 on the back porch, they're still there. And all the ones that were out in the weather are gone. It looks like they did something with the siding, refurbished it or something. I don't know if they took them off for that reason or because I looked at it every time I'd drive by there, I'd look at them. I wanted to see how they were holding up. And last time I went by there was probably no more, and seen them was no more than 2 years ago, and probably a year and a half ago. And then all of a sudden they disappeared, and I thought, oh boy, don't tell me them things started rotting. But I don't really believe that's what it was. I'll see what I can get going on that. My daughter and my son are the ones that's gonna take over that property when I quit breathing. Yeah, youngest daughter. And
Abby?
Yeah. She ain't the only Abby Hoffman. You remember Chicago 7?
I do not. I remember your daughters because
Oh, I
they're
remember
around
Randy
my
Hoffman,
age.
the brother.
Okay, anywhere.
Was the name of his book that he wrote.
Or is either one, is it the old house, is it in historic district?
Yes. Yeah, the blacksmith shop and the house.
They're both. Well, I'm pretty sure the house was, but I wasn't sure about the blacksmith shop.
They both are.
Yeah, that house appears in a lot of old photographs.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Okay, for that summer kitchen, I'd like to rebuild it. Just, I don't know, there's nothing there, nothing original except the stone foundation that needs to be fixed. And the foundation for the chimney, I think, is still there, and that's about it.
We've got, I mean, not a perfect photograph, but we have photographs of, you could tell how tall it was and the orientation. I mean, you have the foundation, but
Yeah.
we could also look at other summer kitchens around town or of that age, if that's something you want to kind of see what it would look like.
Yeah, I've only got one picture of it, and it's from somebody, whoever took the picture was like standing out maybe almost under the trestle there at Gabourey in Maine, and took a picture of the old house, and you can see the summer kitchen kind of in the background. You can see how the roof line is and the chimney and that, but that's all you can see, but I'm pretty well remember, I spent a lot of time being a kid in there. But what I was going to do was the main part of it was just 2 rooms, but on the west, it'd be the west side of it. They had a break in the roof slope. It changed slope and flattened out a little bit, and there was a room from the entry door to the chimney wide. I guess it was probably, I'd say 6 or 8 feet wide. I was going to put a bathroom in there. And then where the 2 major rooms were, was going to be a bedroom and then an eat-in kitchen with a small family area, and I don't really know what I was going to do with it. I mean, you could either rent it out, maybe have the person that lived in it take care of the old house, if it's a VRBO or whatever, they could keep things cleaned up and mow there and all that stuff.
It's a good idea.
Or you could just use it as a guest house for somebody that looking for a cheap place to stay or something. I don't know, but that's the only thing I know to do with it. And without it there, I just don't think the old house looks right. It might look right to people that never seen the house or seldom seen it, but all the eyeballs I got on that place, it just don't look right. So, and I'd like to just use cedar siding or on it, and try to build a chimney with some soft brick like was on it and build it the same way it was made. And I thought about putting one of those imitation wood shingle roofs on it. You know what I mean? They kind of look like wood, but they ain't. Is that appropriate?
You have to see it, probably.
Yeah. What is the existing roof that's on the main house? What is that?
It's an asphalt shingle roof.
It looks like it shakes.
Well, I had some on there that kind of looked pretty decent. I mean, they didn't look just like shingles. I mean, I've never seen that house with a shingle roof on it. I mean, it's always had tin roof, and I'm sure in 1784, it had a shingle roof, I would think, wood. But whenever the house needed to have something done to it, the siding, the paint was deteriorating and getting moldy and everything. And got this company that had supposed to have a 25-year guarantee on their paint job. It's acrylic paint. And they painted it, and so far it's been, I don't know, about 5 years, 6 years, I guess, and it's held up good. But he insisted on painting the soffit and the fascia white. And I said, well, I don't see any sense in doing that right now. I just like to get the house painted, and I can do all the trim that's supposed to be white, front and back and everything. I can get that done later. He said, no, I ain't gonna do it unless you, and he just wanted to do the front one. And when they sprayed it, like they sprayed the, the siding, they sprayed it, but when it was white, and whoever did the job, I guess they wasn't watching, and the paint went up between the soffit, where it didn't fit real tight up against the house. The paint shot up through there and went up in the air and come back down on the roof and turned about a third of the roof white. I mean, it wasn't solid white, but it was white. You could tell it between it and the other shingles. So I had to get them to come back and redo that roof, not them, but somebody else, to redo that roof. And I did a poor job of picking the right kind of shingles out that time. I don't know what happened to me, but I blew it. But if I can get something that looks like wood shingles that you guys would approve of, I mean, I'd be okay with even wood if it's something that, guaranteed to last for 20, 30 years. I just don't want to be putting a roof on it every 5 or 10 years. But if we can agree on something for the summer kitchen, I would replace that asphalt shingle roof on the whole house too, with the same thing. So that's about it. I guess my time's up here.
Well, thank you. You
Cool.
reach out to you to set up a meeting, or you want to get in touch with Nicole and give me a call?
Let me get a hold of Nicole. I'll get a hold of Abby too.
Okay.
I don't think Matt will be interested in getting into the meeting because he's a single father, and he's going through some times with other stuff right now, family stuff, and I just don't think he's interested in it right now. But I hope Abby is, but she was in that bad storm. They had their garage full of stuff because their basement's getting fixed up. And they got 5 cars and they were all sitting outside. And big hail come and knocked the windows out of all of them and dented them all up. So I don't know if she's gonna be into doing a meeting anytime soon.
Okay.
I'll talk to her.
Okay.
And I'll get back with you and you let me know what all I need to do before we meet.
Will do, sir.
Thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We can adjourn.
I was kind of wondering too about the old house, whether you think the VRB